A yacht manager burned a man's business card, not knowing he owned the entire vessel. The marina at Azure Bay was a place where wealth whispered rather than shouted. Polished teak decks gleamed under the afternoon sun, and yachts rested in their slips like sleeping giants, sleek, silent, and impossibly expensive. People who walked these docks tended to move with a certain confidence, the kind that came from knowing they belonged. Ethan Cole did not look like he belonged. He wore a simple navy jacket, well-tailored but unremarkable, and loafers that had clearly been walked in. No watch flashed on his wrist. No entourage followed him. He paused near slip 19, gazing at the yacht Aurelius, a 75-meter masterpiece of steel and glass, his eyes calm, almost affectionate, as if greeting an old friend. From the bridge above, Marcus Hale noticed him immediately. Marcus was the yacht manager, hired 2 years earlier to oversee operations, staff, and guest relations for Aurelius. He took his role seriously, too seriously, some might say. He believed that guarding the image of luxury was just as important as maintaining the engines. And that meant controlling who stepped aboard. Marcus descended the gangway with crisp efficiency, his white polo immaculate, clipboard tucked under his arm. "Excuse me, sir," he said, stopping a few feet from Ethan. "This vessel is private." Ethan smiled politely. "I know." Marcus's gaze flicked over Ethan again, searching for the markers he expected, designer labels, expensive sunglasses, a phone call being barked into a headset. He found none. "Then I'll have to ask you to step away from the dock," Marcus said. "Guests are arriving shortly." Ethan reached into his jacket and produced a business card. It was understated, matte black, raised silver lettering. He held it out between 2 fingers. "My name is Ethan Cole," he said. "I believe we should talk." Marcus did not take the card. "I don't need your card," he replied coolly. "If you're looking to charter, you'll need to contact the broker listed online." Ethan's smile didn't fade. "I'm not looking to charter." A faint irritation crept into Marcus's voice. "Sir, I don't have time for games." Ethan gently placed the card on the small teak table near the gangway. "When you do have time, you'll find my number there." Marcus glanced at the card, then back at Ethan. Something about the man's calmness rubbed him the wrong way. People who didn't belong usually tried harder. They explained themselves. They argued. Ethan did neither. Marcus picked up the card between thumb and forefinger, as if it were something distasteful. "This dock isn't a networking event," he said. "And I don't appreciate unsolicited approaches." Before Ethan could respond, Marcus pulled a lighter from his pocket, one he used for ceremonial candles during onboard dinners, and, without hesitation, flicked it open. Ethan's eyes widened, just slightly. "That won't be necessary." But Marcus had already brought the flame to the edge of the card. The matte black curled, silver letters blackening as the card caught fire. Marcus dropped it into a metal ashtray mounted near the gangway and watched it burn to nothing. "There," he said. "Message received." A hush fell between them, broken only by the soft lap of water against the hull. Ethan looked at the ashes, then back at Marcus. His expression wasn't angry. If anything, it was thoughtful. "I see," Ethan said quietly. "Well, I suppose introductions can wait." He turned and walked down the dock, disappearing into the maze of masts and hulls. Marcus exhaled, satisfied. Another potential nuisance handled. That evening, the crew of Aurelius assembled in the main salon. The yacht was scheduled to depart the following morning for a Mediterranean crossing, and Marcus had called a briefing to review final details. The captain, Sofia Ramirez, stood near the helm display, arms crossed, her brow furrowed. "We have a late addition to the manifest," she said. "Owner arrival. Tonight." Marcus looked up sharply. "Owner?" "Yes," Sofia replied. "Mr. Ethan Cole." The room seemed to tilt. Marcus laughed once, uncertain. "That's not possible." "The owner is Ethan Cole," Sophia finished. He acquired the vessel 18 months ago through a holding company. He rarely visits in person, but he'll be joining us for this voyage. Marcus felt heat rise into his face. There must be some mistake. Sophia handed him a tablet. On the screen was a profile photo, Ethan, standing on the deck of Aurelius, arm resting casually on the rail. Same calm eyes. Same unassuming smile. The tablet slipped slightly in Marcus's grip. When is he arriving? Marcus asked. Any minute, Sophia said. And Marcus, he's very particular about respect. A soft chime echoed through the salon. The deck officer's voice came over the intercom. Manager Hale, Mr. Cole is approaching the gangway. Marcus's mouth went dry. Ethan stepped aboard as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the marina in amber light. He wore the same navy jacket, hands in pockets, posture relaxed. The crew lined up instinctively. Sophia stepped forward first. Welcome aboard, Mr. Cole, she said warmly. Thank you, Captain, Ethan replied. Good to be back. Marcus stood frozen, then forced himself forward. Mr. Cole, he said, his voice tight. Ethan raised a hand gently. Let's take a walk. They moved to the aft deck, away from listening ears. The yacht's lights flickered on, illuminating the water like molten gold. Marcus swallowed. I owe you an apology. I didn't realize. No, Ethan said softly. You didn't know. That's different. Marcus nodded, shame burning in his chest. I acted unprofessionally. Disrespectfully. I burned your card. I know, Ethan said. I watched. The silence stretched. I started with nothing, Ethan continued. Built my company from a borrowed desk and a second-hand laptop. I learned early that people judge quickly. Often incorrectly. Marcus stared at the deck. I hired you because of your reputation, Ethan said. Efficient. Protective. Detail-oriented. Marcus looked up, hope flickering. But today, Ethan added, you confused authority with entitlement. The words landed heavier than any raised voice could have. I'm prepared to accept whatever decision you make, Marcus said quietly. Ethan studied him for a long moment. Then he reached into his jacket and produced another business card, identical to the first. He held it out. This time, he said, take it. Marcus did, his hands trembling. You'll remain manager, Ethan said. On one condition. Yes, sir, Marcus said immediately. Next time someone approaches this vessel, Ethan said, you look at how they carry themselves before you decide whether they belong. He smiled faintly. Luxury isn't about exclusion. It's about understanding. Marcus nodded, throat tight. Thank you. Ethan turned toward the horizon. Now, he said, shall we get underway? As the engines hummed to life and Aurelius eased from the dock, Marcus glanced once more at the card in his hand, not as a symbol of power, but as a reminder. That day, he had learned a lesson no training manual could teach. Sometimes, the quietest person on the dock owns the entire sea.